Destiny 2 Forsaken is creeping ever closer to launch, but before we even get there, Bungie has some goodies lined up for its fans. This week's TWAB, aka Weekly Update, highlighted some of the awesome things that are about to unfold in the upcoming weeks. So sit back, chillax, and let's talk about all of the goodness coming out of Destiny for the rest of the summer. Guardians, what is going on, guys? Sly here, back at you with another D2 video for you all, and let's talk about summer. Not the skin-burning, constantly sweating, mosquito-ridden bugfest, no, I mean summer seasons in Destiny 2. Now, I have been a bit absent from my usual Destiny vids, but that's because I still have work to do on top of being a YouTuber, and summer's my busy season. So add all of that to the Anthem stuff and E3, it is a ton of stuff to do, especially when you're by yourself. Like, I'm just one guy trying to make all this happen. So I apologize about the continuity of my Destiny videos, but before you know it, I will be back into the swing of things where I left off. So let's get to it, guys. Forsaken promises to change Destiny in a very big way, and from what I can see, it will even be better than where we left off in Rise of Iron. Forsaken launches in September, but it seems like there will be plenty of things to do during the months of July and August, which is the traditional low period before content drops in September. This week at Bungie, or the TWAB, highlighted a lot of things coming throughout those 2 months, but more so than that, they also highlighted the fact that power level 400 items, power level 400 weapons and armor is going to be available pre-Forsaken launch. This is something that has never been done before, and it's great to see them move into this new direction, you know, getting us like a loot chase before the DLC even drops. Now we'll get to how we acquire all these weapons and armor here in a little bit, but first let's go over the newly posted roadmap for the weeks ahead. So, as we all know, this week, which is the last week in June, we have our second faction rally. Seems like everyone is pushing for future War Cult to win this week, or at least that's the mood I get from reading the internet. Next up, we have the faction rally Winners Week coming up next week, Mayhem in the Crucible, and it's also Bungie Day sometime in that week. Whether or not we'll hear some more news about Forsaken, I kind of doubt it because Bungie Day's usually an in-company kind of thing, but there is always a hope for a sneak peek. The following week, Iron Banner returns and Guardian Con kicks off down in Florida. And for you guys out there who plan on attending Guardian Con, Bungie is actually going to Tampa, Florida, and they're going to have Gambit on the floor to play for everyone who goes. So that is a big surprise, and I hope you guys have a good time. Finally, the third week in July, Update 123 will drop along with the last faction rally of Year 1, Destiny 2, and also Supremacy graces our presence in the Crucible, hopefully for the final time. And finally, the last week in July, we can expect Faction Rally Winners Week, which really isn't anything, and then doubles in the Crucible. However, the very last day of July will be a big one. The Solstice of Heroes events starts up on that day, and while we don't have tons of information about it, much more will be revealed here soon. We do know it's going to be something similar to like Moments of Triumph events that we had back in original Destiny, where we celebrate our heroic moments in Destiny 2's first year. But the big news this week comes in the form of Update 123. There are some minor Crucible updates happening, which I said we'll go over that in another video, but the main thing to focus on, Prestige Eater of World and Spire of Stars will be dropping, and as well as on top of that, power level 400 weapons. So that is kind of a big deal. Now, I'm sure there are tons of questions, so let's go over exactly what was said in the weekly update. So, Prestige Spire and Prestige EOW will be released at the exact same time on the same day. As soon as Update 123 concludes, they will both be live. Prestige Raid Lairs will use new activity modifiers and a new system of curated loadouts to challenge you in new and exciting ways each week. So basically every week you can expect that you're going to have to switch things up from the previous week. So first things first, what do we get for defeating these raids? Well, there will be 3 main pursuits for clearing prestige raids. First, level 400 power weapons. Now the only way you can get level 400 armor before Forsaken is by partaking in the Summer Solstice event. The only way to obtain power level 400 weapons is by completing Prestige Eater of Worlds or Prestige Spire of Stars. Every time you complete all the encounters in a Prestige Raid Lair that week, you will be rewarded a 400 power raid weapon. This can be any raid weapon available in D2, not just the 2 weapons that drop from normal mode. So instead of only getting, say, the shotgun, grenade launcher, sidearm, or fusion rifle, any and all Leviathan raid weapons will be up for grabs. Now, I don't know if you guys caught this, but it does say every time you complete all the encounters. So it seems like you're going to have to beat the raid from start to finish in order for this level 400 weapon to drop. a move I entirely agree with. It seems you can't just go stealing checkpoints, beating the boss, and boom, you got yourself a weapon. I definitely like this move. The second thing to chase, raid armor ornaments. Each Prestige Raid Lair will have its own set of unique armor ornaments, and please guys, please let them be different than the ones we've already seen. And finally, the third and last thing to chase, exotic Masterwork Catalysts. Both Raid Lairs have a Masterwork Catalyst that can only be found as a rare drop in these Prestige activities. So it looks like there will be plenty more to grind for, my friends. Alright guys, so as a quick recap, you can only get power level 400 armor from the Solstice of Heroes event that starts at the end of July. Power level 400 weapons will only drop from the 2 Prestige Raid Lairs, and Prestige EOW Inspire Stars also drop unique armor ornaments and specific exotic Masterwork Catalyst. Those will also be considered a rare drop. So now moving on to the next question, what turns these normal Raid Lairs into a Prestige Raid Lair? Well, according to Bungie, each week there are curated weapon suites and a global modifier. This is both for Spire of Stars and EOW. The modifier and weapon set will all be the same for both Raid Lairs each week. Curated loadouts are based on weapon archetypes, so when this goes live, you might see a week that requires you to equip an auto rifle, submachine gun, and a sniper rifle. Or you might see scout rifle, hand cannon, rocket launcher. These loadouts are not locked, and you can use any combination you want as long as they fit into these loadout restrictions. So for instance, if it's auto rifle, submachine gun, sniper, then your kinetic has to be an auto rifle, your energy has to be a submachine gun, and your heavy has to be a sniper. Now it doesn't matter, for instance, in your auto rifle, if you use Origin Story, Ghost Primus, or Suros Regime, as long as your first weapon is an auto rifle, you're good to go. Later on, if you want to change out Suros to a legendary AR, so that way you can use Darcy as your heavy, that is definitely allowed. These categories are not locked, so long as you use what's required. So now on to these modifiers. There are 3 modifiers that will rotate between these 2 Raid Lairs. 2 of them are unnamed and brand new to the game, and the third one is Prism, quote unquote a Destiny 2 favorite. Also, to let you guys know, the Raid team are the ones that created these new modifiers, so it should all flow together pretty well. Now the point of these modifiers is to make you change up your tactics from week to week. One week it might be all about supers and abilities. The next week it could be about precision. Putting all of these things in combination with each other will definitely promote Guardians to be thinking outside of the box. Now they haven't dived into what these, those 2 modifiers are just yet, and I'm sure that will be a launch day secret. So as for the next remaining questions, will there be any changes to the encounters? According to Bungie, no, the encounters will be staying exactly the same. The modifiers and loadouts will be the change for Prestige. Next question, will anything be happening to the Prestige Leviathan? That is also a negative. It is staying exactly the same, as well as the power level. However, it does sound like Callus will start having the chance to drop the exotic Masterwork Catalyst for Legend of Acreus, which is pretty big news. Again, this is for Prestige mode only. As much as I use this shotgun, it is something I will definitely be farming for. So while I am a little disappointed that there aren't going to be any new encounters in the Prestige versions of the Raid Lairs, I do think that these modifiers will up the difficulty, and we don't even know what the other 2 mods will be. I absolutely hate Prism, and when Prism is on with the right weapon loadout, it's going to constrict your vault down to only a select few weapons that'll be worth using. So it's going to be interesting to see how these things flow from week to week, and what we have to use, and what the best selection or loadout is going to end up being. So that's going to be something else I'll have to keep an eye on. Alright, so moving on towards the end of the weekly update, Bungie starts talking about the Collections tab coming here soon, and basically, it works out that any armor piece, weapon, ghost shell, ship, emblem, or shader that you've acquired in year 1 of Destiny 2 will be available when that tab gets here. It started tracking all of your items the day that Warmind debuted. So, pretty much from then up until now, all of the items that you had in your vault, everything that you've discarded, whatever, it will all be there available for repurchase when the Collections tab gets here. So from then onward, you can safely discard all the weapons and you will be able to buy them back once Collections go live. Things you deleted before May 8th will not have been tracked, so you will have to reacquire them. Bungie also hasn't set a cost for purchasing items at this time, but the 2 goals for Collections are to make sure it's not a currency sink and that you won't have to convert currency in order to use it. Also, as for shaders, when Collections debut, there will no longer be a cost applied to shaders to use on weapons, armor, ships, etc. But there will be a cost to buy them from the Collections tab. So that's one of the changes coming to the shader economy. And finally guys, items bought from collections will drop close to your current power level, but not at level. So you will have to infuse it in order to get the item ready for endgame activities. But that is really about it, y'all. Once the patch notes drop for update 123, we will know more about what we can all expect, and I can't wait to see what the ornaments look like and what Masterworks will be dropping from the Prestige Raid Lairs. Definitely excited for that, and then a little after that drops, Solstice of Heroes goes live. 1 month later, we have Forsaken, so it is definitely an exciting time to be a Guardian, and I can't wait to dive into everything Forsaken promises to bring. Good times are definitely in front of us, y'all, but for now, focus up and get those faction catalysts, and we'll take it 1 week at a time. Take care, nation, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, sorry for the lag in Destiny videos, but they will be coming back into full swing here very soon. So don't freak out, because Destiny is still at the top of my list, as well as Anthem. So keep those eyes open for both of them. Feel free to check me out on Twitter or Facebook, Sly Nation, Sly Nation Gaming. Subscribe for tons more D2 and Forsaken videos. Spank the thumbs up only if you enjoyed yourself, and keep those alerts on for more videos coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you all next time.